Hello, Connie Barmer. Hey, Veronica. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Lady. Hey, Stephanie. Oi. Hey, 1998 champions. Hey, Emma. Was it Amade? Sorry. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, in this royal space, we have our good days, our funny days, our bad days, and our WTF days. And this is, well, it's a WTF week. It's a WTF week. Because these people will not let our faves rest. And I can't believe I'm saying this even after all this time, because I guess we should be used to the games, but I do not think that the royal institution, that Charles, Camilla, and William and the courtiers would be this ridiculous at this point. This raises serious questions about Birmingham. Having said that, when Birmingham Invictus does come around, you have veterans from overseas, officials from overseas. I'm pretty sure some MPs will show up, UK MPs, international visitors, people that need to be kept safe. But can we trust anything at this point when we see how the establishment is behaving? And apparently, there's no one with a backbone enough, even though I'm sure there's a lot of people who are looking at this and they can see how ridiculous it is. But there's no one with a backbone enough or a strong arm enough to reel in the royals. Whatever the haters want to say, Harry and Meghan are great PR for this country. Harry does great things for veterans in his country and abroad. And it is giving the royal institution and the establishment terrible PR at the fact that they keep attacking Harry and Meghan. This is exactly why I will forever just be petty, shady, no F's given on this podcast. And I still don't feel like I go as hard as Tina and Michelle in them days. But Tina and Michelle had their own style. The OGs, of course. But this is why I will forever be petty. Because what is this? I cannot think of one solid reason why you would not give Harry and his family security other than you want harm brought to them, and serious harm at that. The royal family at this point just look like a bunch of senseless thugs. Jealous, vindictive, senseless thugs. And they're also just stupid. Because in God's name, nothing will happen to Harry, to Meghan and their family. But the royal institution have got to be utterly stupid if they think, if anything did happen to them, that would not have any reflection on the image of the royal institution. Especially after what happened to Diana. It would be 10 times. 10 times the pushback. And there's actually, I don't have the quote here with me, but there's a quote that went around the squaddy space, where they were talking about it would seem that as far as the royal institution is concerned, that would actually not be the case. The opposite would be the case. That it would have no major impact on the image or reputation of the institution. They honestly believe this. This jealousy and envy will lead you to destroy themselves. And I rebuke anything bad happening in God's name to Harry and Meghan and their children, but this is all gonna come back on the royal institution. I actually did an article yesterday. I'll post it in the community tab. And it's basically a list of, I'm creating that list of people that Karma visited after they talked smack about Meghan. Hi, I heard you were talking smack about Meghan. Here I come. I'll post the link to the article. I think there's only I put 6 people on it so far. That list will grow. Come on, has everybody's address. So far, almost everything that they've wished on Harry and Meghan happened to them anyway. It's them who are getting booed at trooping. You stopping Harry and Meghan from coming to the UK is not going to stop you from getting booed at trooping. Last year, this year, and next year also. I doubt they'll even do the carriage procession next year. All of this pushback against Harry and Meghan is not making anybody like the royals even more. It's just making them look more and more petty and vindictive. Oh, messy doesn't even begin to describe. Exactly, Wendy. The royals' popularity has plummeted and it's getting even worse. And what do they think playing all these games at the 11th hour is going to do for their reputation? Exactly. What are they thinking at this point? Are they even thinking at all? Thank you to Afro Jamdow who bought me a coffee. I said, and God bless you for the wonderful work you're doing concerning our faves. Yes, Karma will always know those low-life names. My prayers are with the Sussex family. Many blessings and thank you to our Sussex supporters. Thank you so much, Afro Jam. And you know what? At this point, this is actually bigger now than just Harry and Meghan. It's bigger than them. Because what does it say that the highest institutions in the land of the United Kingdom have been so lenient with the likes of Andrew, but protecting a biracial duchess and her children, we have to go through all of this. Because mind you, if Harry was coming on his own, this wouldn't be happening. I think by now they would have folded and just let Harry have his security. It's Meghan and their kids. And they are so resentful that truly it's Meghan and the kids that are the stars. Let's keep it real. Mind you, the kids were very likely not to be seen anyway, but it's Meghan. Liza Bruno, I hope I never get used to our face being abused, lied on, and disrespected. Listen, it's all going to come back to these people. It will. And you know when it's going to come back to them? When William becomes king. When William becomes king, it's going down. And not in the way I think that William, in his incandescent rage and envy, thinks it's going to go down. It will be a disaster. He's a disaster as heir. It will be an entire Netflix documentary when he is king. Netflix documentary in real time. We won't have to wait until they do the drama serialization for The Crown. This generation gets to watch it in real time. Just how petty, vindictive, and ridiculous William is. He will be mad with power. He will be the nail in the coffin of this institution, I tell you. The nail in the coffin. Yeah, they lost the Commonwealth. Yeah, they did it to Diana, so they're doing the same playbook. I also believe that I think Harry knows that his family is a problem. I think the reason Harry is taking it to in the future, nobody can try to rewrite the narrative because they have always said that it's Diana that refused security. Now, I don't actually believe that Diana refused security. However, let's just assume that she did. Would you even blame her? Because would that security even be trustworthy? Do you know that today in the United Kingdom, a teenager, a 13, 14-year-old boy was charged with the intention to commit domestic terrorism. He was going to commit a mass terror attack. He had been researching the Southport attack, and he was going to commit an act of terror in his school. That's a 13-year-old boy. We know that there have been credible threats towards Harry and Meghan and their children. Meghan receiving powder with racist messages. There are people that have already gone to jail because they were so worked up about the fact that Harry was having a child with a biracial woman. In fact, one of the people who was in jail, they're not even a British citizen. I believe the guy was Polish. So this person who's not even from the United Kingdom, they're not okay. Maybe he's a British citizen, but he's not English. This person got so worked up by tabloid lies and propaganda that they were going to or threatening to commit some kind of act of violence against Harry, his children, and his wife. That is how insane some people have become because of the British tabloids. Someone who's not even English behaving like this because Harry married a biracial woman and had children with her. Even this whole thing about, oh, Harry needs a assessment. Assessment of what? The evidence has been there. Even people from the security services have said these people are facing a real threat. Benjamin, even if they don't like Harry, Invictus 2027 is about England. They can't put their pettiness aside. No. Because it would make so obvious. Hang on a sec. Sorry, cat wars again. I don't know if you can hear them. One sec, sorry. Okay, sorry folks, I'm back. Yeah, they don't want to put their pettiness aside because you know what it's gonna do. If Invictus comes to the UK, it's going to be more obvious than ever the amount of work that Harry has put in over the years and how much the others are lacking. It will expose that. I also foresee a situation where you will have several MPs, most likely even the Prime Minister, showing up to Invictus, and the other members of the royal family will not. They will not show up, even with the United Kingdom Invictus athletes and veterans there. That's why they're not putting their pettiness aside, Benjamin. Oh, hang on a minute, Benjamin, wasn't it? Weren't you struggling to comment before? I think you're able to comment now, right? Oh, that's good. I'm so sorry. I literally just realized. I literally just realized that you were having trouble commenting before, and it seems like you can comment now. That's fantastic. I'm so sorry about you not being able to comment, Benjamin. I don't know why that happened, but I did. I don't know if you saw the message because I don't remember you responding. But yeah, if that happens, if it happens, guys, that you cannot comment for some reason, because we had this issue with Benjamin. First of all, do email me, andcmalambo@gmail.com. It could be that, you know, maybe you were accidentally blocked or something. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened once or twice. And then also, if you're finding that you can't comment, try unsubscribing and then subscribe and see after 48 hours if you're able to comment. Sorry if that's happened to anyone. I know it's very frustrating, but honestly, if you're not a person that causes trouble here, there's no real reason why I would block you, and it's likely just a YouTube glitch. So please don't let that frustrate you if it happens. And very sorry about that, Benjamin. Harry should cut his losses with that family. Oh, yes, sorry. You just reminded me of what I was saying. I think I went off on a little bit of a tangent, or I got distracted by the cats. So I feel that Harry wants to have on record that he did attempt to get security, but he was stopped because they've been trying to rewrite this narrative with Diana for some time. Diana refused her security. And like I said, I don't think she did, but even if she did, would you be able to trust it? So I think that's part of it. Harry doesn't want a situation where the narrative is rewritten. Thank you so much, Ernie Cole. Appreciate you. I think I'll do half an hour of call-ins. Oh, thank you so much, Benjamin, for the copies as well. I appreciate that. Oh my God, guys, can you hear? Please stop. If they're not your friends, don't play with them. Honestly, having a pet is like having a toddler. Now you have to deal with the neighborhood kids as well. Good Christ. Thank you so much, Lottie, for the super sticker. You could hear them, right? Ugh. It's like having toddlers. All right. That was I think that's the longest intro rant I've ever done. So now let's get into the meat and bone. Now let's get into the meat and bones. Lottie, you said if I were Meghan, I won't go, but that's Harry's what, yeah. Right, so where are we now? Have to just find which Harry exploring every option, or is it maybe this one? No, I think it's, well, let me go to Celeb Bitchy. They usually have something up to date. And let's also read, so let's actually read the Sussex statement, right? Let's read that. And then we'll get into some of the ridiculous commentary around this issue. Right, so this is from Harry's office. This is why I keep saying they need their own social media. They need their own social media, my gosh. Because sometimes these words don't travel far enough. Ali Starball, I think your cat might be in heat. No, do you know what it is? My cat's inside. So we're actually inside and I've got these like glass sliding doors that go out onto my balcony. And two of the other neighborhood cats have come to the balcony and they're outside of my balcony And I think they're trying to get in because they want food. Because both of the other cats, I think one of them is a stray. And the other one I don't think is a stray, but I don't think it gets fed very well. So I think they're trying to encroach on my cat's territory because my cat is not a stray. It has a home. And they're like just being very territorial. And also I think that the other two cats aren't neutered. Or at least one of them seems to have had twin babies. So when cats aren't neutered, yeah. Cat got your tongue. Literally, cat fight. Uh no, he's not in heat. They were growling at each other. There's actually three of them that you heard. Mary, you said, watch this space. William will be humbled by something big one day. He is full of hate, and at some point that has to come to boil. There will be breaking news about Bart. 100%, Mary. 100%. Tamara, you said William doesn't hate Meghan. He's infatuated with her, and Piers Harry got her instead of Kate. Well, he could have, if he wanted to, gone for a woman of substance like Meghan. But like his petty father, he doesn't want to be overshadowed. Harry, as a man, doesn't mind being with a woman who's a bright star. And I think you're 100% right, Tamara. But the problem is that I think that men like William, they have that patriarchal way of thinking. They want a woman to just stand behind them, and his royal upbringing has told him just that. Oh, YM Joy's in the chat. It's now it's gonna be turned up with YM Droid in the chat. I'm gonna do some call-ins so you can come up, YM Droid, if you've got time. So exactly, you can't now be jealous at the fact that your brother got Meghan when you weren't even looking at women like Meghan in the first place, and you wouldn't be able to make the space as a man for a woman like Meghan. A woman like Meghan needs a man like Harry who is happy to be in a partnership where both of them can shine, and he doesn't mind if his woman shines a little bit brighter because that shines on him. That's what a man with healthy masculinity, that's how he behaves. That's how he thinks. Okay. Right, let's have a read of this. Prince Harry's program in the United Kingdom includes both public and private engagements across the country. Safe accommodation is only one element of an effective protective security plan because risk follows the person, not the place. The issue has never been accommodation. The issue is whether appropriate and proportionate protective security is being provided throughout the entirety of the visit. The Independent Risk Management Board that Ravik itself decided was necessary last November has still not taken place. And apparently, it was paused without any explanation on Friday. It is therefore difficult to understand how the proportionality of the current arrangements can credibly be maintained without that independent assessment. The Duke continues to explore every available option to enable the visit to proceed safely and to give his children the opportunity to enjoy the UK. Amen, amen. In other words, the nicest way possible, get your ish together, because what WTF is this? WTF is this when Andrew can be Andrew and still get security? Connie Balmer, you said William will be fried when he becomes king. He's jealous and it will make him go mad. So he will be a mad and unpopular king. Yeah, he'll be so fixated on trying to get back at Harry and Meghan, he won't even be focused on whatever nonsense he's talking about, trying to end homelessness, planting trees, planting a tree in a desert to help the environment. Anybody that wants to come up, you can come up. YM Droid, if you want to come up. Anybody else? The link is there. Let's join the discussion. Let's get into it. We're only half an hour in. Still got a lot to go. You know, I saw this picture and I had to share it with you all of Harry when he was a kid doing up Charles's shoes. William on the side. I think this is so sad. You know? I really do believe that Harry loves his family. And I think Harry knows what love is because he received the love from Diana the short time that she was in his life. And I think that William received the same love as well, but the institution beat it out of him because they had to make sure that there was nothing of Diana left. But they didn't manage to do that with Harry. And I think that's another reason why they're so annoyed with Harry and who he's become. Helen, Prince Andrew is out and about today at some show with Edwina and Ford Fiesta, has been reported. Oh, why am I not surprised? So you can be a whole PDF file, have pictures out in the public domain of you leering over a woman's body and rolling around the floor with a toddler. You just can't be a biracial duchess. Why Android? How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh, wait, sorry. Had to pause it on my other screen so that there's not a weird echo. No, I 100% agree. I was just doing a little, I'm gonna say like a little subterfuge on a channel that's not, they're not explicitly deranger, but I don't know. I can always feel when it veers off into that territory because they've heard from sources and such about how difficult it is to be around Harry and Meghan. And I'm like, compared to what? I'm like, oh, I hope that you'll look into because they were bringing up something about, oh, well, like they had all of this staff turnover. I said, oh, I hope that you'll also look into the staff turnover at Kensington Palace. There is no way, like just to put it out there. I didn't go too far, just so that they, so that they don't catch on right away. But this entire decrepit institution, that is the perfect picture of all of the snakes in this in this nest. And yeah, like Harry, the one who retained some sense of, I don't know, like some sense of joy. It just seems like they try to strip all the joylessness out of everybody in the name of a protocol and this is the way it is and pecking order, whatever, like whatever they can do to make people, kind of not feel good about their own accomplishments that come outside of being gifted a title or gifted something else, which Harry and Meghan both have in abundance. Harry with his military service, and I want to say his true commitment to his charities, and Meghan the same. I mean, like with her actual work experience, her experience being working class and not, I want to say, trying to push that down once she got a title, but keeping that in mind as to how she could help others and help improve their experience. And that, I feel, is the main thing that they hate, that they were not able to take Harry's joy. They weren't able to take Meghan's joy. And I mean, they tried. They really, really tried, but they failed. Just like I feel William is definitely going to fail trying to keep things together. We see that even as Prince of Wales, he can't even fake it to, or like I said, he has no mask. I mean, decent, I'm gonna say decent psychopaths or sociopaths for at least some period of time at least have a mask that makes them seem likable, where they can pretend, like, and they can draw that out of people. And William just, like, he doesn't have that ability. He just doesn't even have a mask that he can put on for anything that makes him seem competent, that makes him seem likable, that or anything else. And I guess he just surrounds himself with low EQ people who support that and just say, "Oh no, you're perfect as you are, my king or my future
Mm,
king," or whatever it is. No one seems to be able to get through to him, and I feel like Diana probably even saw a bit of that when he was younger, but that's just pure
younger, yeah.
speculation. I you know it's he has I feel like he has personality and just kind of character defects that can't be corrected at this point.
Mm,
It's if you look at the trajectory from his father to his time, as terrible as Charles is as a father, I mean, there's definitely, he definitely did not learn from his own experience there and give any more care to his children. But for all of Charles's many flaws, he at least was able to put on a mask for some of the environmental stuff. He's at least been able to put on a mask for certain ceremonial things. I'll
yeah,
give him
yeah.
that.
The Prince's Trust, well, which is now the King's Trust.
Yeah, exactly. It's a, it's not. I mean, let's be honest. If we pay attention to their finances, which I think all of this is designed to take away from people paying attention to their
Yes, yeah.
finances, it's maybe like just a drop in the bucket, but at least he
Mhm.
dropped something in the bucket and
Mhm.
puts on that mask of, oh, here's something that I care about, where you believe that he may actually have real human emotions and care about something. Where William and his smiling and waving just never seems to have gotten that. He never seems to have
Mm.
gotten that. And he is with a perfectly stiff wife who I guess can be the cardboard cutout behind him. They throw on a Timu wig, they throw on whatever coat dress they can dig out of the archives and adapt to fit her and call it a day. But neither of them just neither of them have bothered to put on the mask. Camilla, I don't think anybody expected that her to put on a mask. So if you see her show up at maybe like a cigarette factory or a brewery or something, I think we might believe that she cares about something. She might be excited then. Sometimes when she's out with her cousins and pinning blue ribbons on them and they're both flashing their horse teeth, there's an occasional glint of some type of excitement. So no one really expected it, but like I said, I think that entire institution is they just want everybody to be as joyless and miserable as
As
they
they
are.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I know
and
you've said it all. Go on.
I was just going to say, I do think I feel like Charles might swoop in with something at the last minute, not because he cares, but again, just because he does have a slightly more developed mask, and maybe there is someone who gets through to him that tells him it's going to make him look like the bigger royal or the peace bringer or something along those lines. If he manages to get Harry and his family over safely, that, oh, look at what he's endured and look how generous he is, and he's the caring grandfather, he did it for the grand, they'll make up some mess, which we already know is going to be a load of steaming horse poop. But I feel like there may be somebody like in his orbit where, of course, there is no love for Harry. There's even less for Meghan, and there's probably nothing left over for Archie and Lilibet. So I don't think any of it would ever come from any genuine place. However, I do think that Charles would take advantage of the situation to try to make himself look look like something. Um, or maybe do that. So if they do make it over there, I get the feeling we will see leaks about, just how gracious Charles is for forgiving Harry for, I don't know, feeling normal human emotions and telling people how screwed up that family is. Um, there may be some of that comes through at the last minute, just in time to save the day. If it does
Yeah.
happen, then I have a feeling that's the narrative or that's the story that's going to be pushed out. And then we'll have William just going around more incandescent with rage and probably doing his best to leak something about the latest mold burger that he made, or they'll trot they'll trot Kate out there to climb another molehill and call it something for charity.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay, well, I'm gonna come back to you,
Okay.
but I just wanted to let Fatimata speak. Fatimata, hey.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
Good. Sorry, I have a few minutes. I've been like watching mostly on Twitter, the discourse like about the security stuff, and there's a user there who is Princess Diana's fan. She's a, I don't think she's a squaddy. I don't want to say the name. She
Mm-hmm.
always predicted that King Charles doesn't care about Harry. If something happened to them, he'll be delighted. I never believed that, but this time I think I do.
Mm,
I think if something happened to Prince Harry and his family, I think he will be secretly delighted and will
mm,
go and pretend to be the how to say that the grandpa who never met her, who didn't spend time with grandchildren, or my darling boy, he calls him.
mm,
And the psychopath name, alleged psychopath name, William, I think for him at this point, if he can put on a hit on Harry and his family without tracing back to him, he will do it. That's how
mm.
I believe. I might be wrong. I say that because last time Prince Harry went to England, when he donated that big amount of money to that charity in Nottingham, I think one of the reporters on Daily Mail, I think it's something named Leeds Jones, something like that. I saw a
Oh
screenshot
yeah.
from a squaddy saying that if you say his name, if you say Prince Harry's name and his presence, he will throw you out. He will. He said he will pick you up himself if you do that. He will throw you out. That's how angry he is.
Ah,
He just
doesn't
cannot let
surprise
it
me.
go. And I don't
Mm,
believe because he's some type of idiot. I think he's just he was raised. He was a brat. I think.
yeah.
I don't think somebody said that he loves Megan. No, 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 no. He had a fantasy about Megan before they met. The minute he realized, the minute she said, "Kindly take your fingers out of my face," it was over. He doesn't want
Yeah.
a woman. He want a mannequin who can respond when he wants to. No wonder none
Mm,
of the aristo girls wanted him because they dated him. Their profile went up. Then they got a real man. And but Kate,
mm.
this was her mission, and good for her. She got what she wanted, and she's working really hard to keep it up.
Hang on to it. Yeah.
And she's climbing mountains to hold on to the king, whatever.
Well, she got. I don't. she. I don't think she 100% got what she wanted. I think she imagined something else. But it's
No, she
morphed
was in
into
the
a
trenches for
nightmare.
10 years. She was
In
in the trenches for 10 years. If she did like Megan, I would say yes. She knew the man, but she didn't know the
of the
institution.
institute.
Harry didn't tell her because if he told her, this marriage would not happen. So she kind of realized it while it's happening. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
she knew anything because they were very. She said in the beginning everybody was welcoming. That's what she said on the Oprah interview. She said everybody was welcoming. That was it in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. And then they because I think somebody was saying that, oh, they were murmuring at the wedding, oh, it's gonna last 2 years, it's gonna last. They thought they didn't have to do anything. She's just gonna divorce him. She's a strong woman, she's not gonna be bullied. But where is how is gonna go? He has somewhere, he doesn't have anywhere to go. He's gonna stay. That was the prediction. So she's gonna leave him, and we're gonna just bully her for the rest of her life. And Harry will, maybe if William is okay, he's gonna marry an idiot or a mannequin like my wife, and life will, the fantasy will live happily ever after. It didn't go that way. I'm
Mm.
just at this point, you cannot tell Prince Harry not to go back to his home country. I'm come from
Exactly.
another place. If you tell me I cannot bring my children to my home country, even though they're Americans, you cannot tell me that I cannot bring them back and show them where I come from, no matter how horrible it is, no matter why I left there. I want them to know, because there were aspects in my childhood that was lovely, that was beautiful. They have cousins there. I want them to go and see the place. They might not stay. Some of them, I have even a few of my family who were born here. They went back home and open business. They stay there. So you cannot tell him not to do it. The problem
Yeah.
is the security is attached to the crown. So no matter what he does, he's not gonna win. But I hope they continue this way, because if the king would have given him the security he wanted in the beginning, he would have been praised. Even Sister Squaddy was saying, "Oh, I lovely. He's gonna give them security." But now it doesn't matter. Even if he step in the last minute, he doesn't know, like, the way things are going. It's like he's punching his son and punching himself. It's like a how to say, a murder suicide. You're
Yeah.
not getting what do you want from this. I don't know what bubble he is in. It's like they don't function like a human capable of thinking. I think the way they're telling them that they were anointed by God, they believe that nonsense.
Yeah. They believe it. Yeah.
And they believe that everybody has his inferior. Prince William could not believe that he could just take his finger and point that close to Meghan's face, and she's just gonna sit there and go, "He must be the future king." All she said was a jerk. Get your finger out of my face, jerk. I don't care if you
Mhm.
anointed with whatever you think.
You're not anointed by God, but you've got three phantom follicles on your head. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Fatimata. Okay, Fatimata, you can stay there, but I just want to there's another caller called Zen, who I don't know if this person has been up before, so I just want to hear them speak, and then I'll carry on with the podcast, and then we can kind of interject with discussions in between. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Zen, have you been up here before?
I hope you're hearing me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Where are
Can
you
you hear
calling from,
me?
Zen? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
The mic is on, but I'm not here. Oh, it's on commercial. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes. It's so nice to speak with you once again. And thank you so much always for your 100%
Oh,
podcast.
thank you. Where are you calling from, Zen?
Hi. My take on it is that I think uh, Georgia, America in
Georgia.
America.
Oh, nice, nice. Could you turn? I think you've got a little bit of echo in the background.
Yes. So my take on it is that oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, my take on it is that Ari, it was not surprised by the security dilemma. I
Mhm.
think Harry knew about it, and that's why he made the confirmation when he did and how he did it. Especially the part where he says his children will not be attending any public affairs. I
Mm.
think Ari knew that this security was already. First of all, if you listen and go back, it says the Ravik or whatever they call them committee. I've not met in over 7 years. So I don't
Mm.
think maybe there was a little private talk between him and his father about the royals staying at some royal housing or something. But I think Ari might have been well aware that it was not official. So I think he was doing planning beyond that. So I don't think it was a surprise to him at all, especially the part, or if it was, when he says his children was not going to be public. The men in the gray suit and the press work along. So when he said that, that might have been something that helped escalate it to where it is today, because he was not going to show his children. His children was not going to be a part of all of this. So I think that's where it is. Hello?
Yeah, no, yeah. Carry on. So I didn't want to interrupt you. So go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear
so
you. I
I'm
don't
not
know if you can hear me.
surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't think Harry is surprised either, but maybe very disappointed. Because I don't know, even just for the sake of
Okay.
optics, you would think that maybe they would just get their ish together. But thank you so much for that, San. I appreciate your input.
So thank you for listening. I can't hear you anymore. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. I'll take you out. But thank you so much, then. Let me just, maybe she can't hear me, so I'll just say it in the chat. Okay. So I want to say also thank you to Kat Harlem. Thank you for that super chat and being a member for 47 months. What? Thank you, Kat Harlem. You said, I believe H will have to move his family in and out of the UK in complete secret. No heads up to Palace or Ravek. The British media and royal family would find out they were there after the fact. I mean, there was one time when he came for the World Child Awards and the paparazzi actually chased him, which is ridiculous because with World Child, he's going to be at an event. If you're not invited as the press to take pictures, mind your business. So even that time, they tried to chase him. So I don't think that Harry's being paranoid and thinking that they will try because they're desperate. I also think that what might happen is that because nobody wants Harry and Meghan to be seen, nobody wants to see the children more than the tabloid rats in the press. So I think that you could have a situation where, I don't know, one of them will pull some blackmail or something and threaten them and say, listen, we need to make our money, so you better just make sure that Harry and Meghan get here safe, and give them their damn security so that we can make our money. Now, because he can never keep his mouth shut, and because apparently Meghan is a bigger priority to him than Prince Andrew, Piers Morgan popped out of nowhere and was on a show with Katie Nicholl and some other Rotorats, Rob Jobson, clearly not drinking his beetroot juice, and some others. 2 alleged phone hackers on a sofa, flapping their gums. I want to just analyze some of what they said.
How do you trust these two?
Yeah.
Right? And, they're going to bring the kids that they keep preaching to the world about privacy and how to protect kids online. Meantime, she's out there pumping week after week more and more pictures of their kids. So there's an absolute hypocrisy there, which I find, honestly, frankly, quite sickening. It's like, how dare you preach to us about privacy and protecting kids online, and then the next day go and put on Instagram.
Mind you, the kids that we're trying to protect online that were part of this campaign are children that have literally committed suicide, been driven to their deaths. How do you compare that with Harry and Meghan posting pictures of their kids where you can't even see their faces? How do you compare the two? There's no comparison. So there's no hypocrisy.
Pictures of your young kids
think it was
to
the same
purely
thing, actually.
promote your brand as the rival renegade royal family. I just go back to, they stuck it to the royals at the royals' most vulnerable time. I mean, you and I have covered the royals for longer than we care to admit, but decades, right? But the idea they did this as Philip was dying, as the Queen was dying.
I noticed that they always use that line, oh, Philip was dying, the Queen was dying. Oh, but did it stop Andrew running around acting like a fool and embarrassing
week in, week out,
the Queen or Philip? Did it stop Andrew? No, Andrew wasn't thinking about the Queen. when he was running around with Epstein. He wasn't thinking about anybody but himself. Certainly not his alleged victims and other victims of Epstein. But all of this ridiculous guilt tripping about Philip was dying, the Queen was dying. Respectfully, they were both very elderly anyway.
Institution, all of it. They were doing everything they could to destroy the whole thing. And now they want to waltz back into the country because he's got his Invictus Games, which is a perfectly valid, good event. I'm not going to denigrate the Invictus Games. The people that compete in it deserve all our admiration, and it's a good event. But the idea it becomes this big circus of the great return
well, it's
of
not
these
going
two.
to be, because there are.
And this is how they create false narratives instead of reporting the truth. This is what the British tabloids do. This is what the likes of Piers Morgan have done his entire career. Mind you, it's the likes of Piers Morgan that have created the circus, that have created a dangerous environment where Harry and Meghan need the level of security that they need. Because they created an environment that emboldened literal NAZIs to send threats to Harry and Meghan because they don't like the fact that Harry had children or married a biracial woman. It's the likes of Piers Morgan and the other ones sitting on this chair right now have created that environment. This is their fault. This whole thing is a circus. It's their fault that the level of security that Harry and Meghan need is required. More so than sitting presidents of countries.
They've tried to trash the entire institution.
There are many members of the royal family who will not have that meeting. I think the king probably will meet them because I think he is magnanimous. I think he has
he might meet Harry. I very much doubt he'll meet Meghan. I'd be astonished.
He wants to see his grandchildren.
Mind you, nobody wants to meet Meghan more than Piers Morgan. I don't believe for a second that he met Meghan. I think he lied. I think that Harry probably warned Meghan about him. Because if he had met Meghan, he has photos with every famous person, especially every famous woman that he's ever met. He'll never leave a famous person without taking a photo so he can get clout. He never met Meghan. And I think he also knows that Meghan wouldn't deny that he was lying because he would then use that as a weapon and get into a ridiculous back and forth. No, I did meet her. No, he didn't meet me. No, I met you. That's what he wants. He wants a back and forth. But I don't believe, when he says he met Meghan, I don't believe him. And nobody wants to meet Meghan more than Piers Morgan. Obsessed with her. Even his wife is obsessed with her. His wife that apparently needed a 6-week break from their marriage. Can you blame her?
It will be on Charles's terms. I think it will be very carefully coordinated by private secretaries. And
I tell you won't be seeing them, William.
No, William,
I think William would rather shoot. William would rather shoot.
I want to talk about that because we can all empathise with that point of view, of course. But
and you know, how does Piers know that William would rather shoot himself than meet Harry and Meghan? Who's been briefing Piers? Camilla, who he likes to have lunch with. Is that how he knows that William would rather shoot himself than meet Harry and Meghan? His own relatives?
You know, for all the reasons you've just said, it's a circus anytime
It
Harry
will be.
comes
As soon
to
as
town.
they step foot in town, it's a circus.
It's always going to be if they don't find a way.
There's not
to
going to be a
figure
way,
this out as a
ultimately.
family.
There can't be a way.
It's going to overshadow William's reign as much as it is Charles's reign if we don't sort this out. So when...
Well, I don't think William wants anything to do with that. I think if William was to become king, I think the first thing you do is strip them of the titles. I mean, I felt they should lose their titles for years because I just think they want their royal cake and eat it. Remember, the Queen was very, very adamant. You can't be half in and half out of the royal family.
You know what? The fact that Piers is talking about this strip them of their titles nonsense, now I'm actually starting to believe that William would be stupid enough to try it. He would be stupid enough to open that can of worms. Joy, did you want to say anything before I move on?
Only that I think that Meghan is involved in the threesome no one wants to be part of with Pierce Moron and his wife for certain. No one wants to be involved in that, and yet they just keep dragging her in there. And I'm certain that she tries her best to not have any of this cross her path. But I know she's been asking herself, how did I get involved with this? But I agree with you. I do think that he's lying about having met her. I think that she was supposed to, and Harry heard the name of who she was going to meet and said, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And she did it, and he cannot get over there. I have never seen anybody this obsessed who didn't end up being booked on charges. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous at this point. Years, has it been a decade now? I mean, it's just been so long, and he's still. Oh, and then I had my blue balls, and this dude he's just off. So yes, I would need more than a 6-week break from that marriage if I ended up with a uninvited person who my husband never met involved in my marriage to the extent that Piers seems to involve Meghan in his. Like I said, not for me. Not to kink shame anyone, but not my thing. I would not be able to do that. So,
and you know why I'm joyed? It's not just Meghan. Pierce, let's not forget, Pierce was also obsessed with, and even to this day, still opens his yuck mouth to talk about Diana. I think that these people in these media circles, it's like they're not actually concerned with reporting any actual news. They're like high school teenagers who are in these cliques, and they're in the inner clique where they know all the gossip about what happens in Westminster, what happens in the palace, and their entire personalities are pumped up and propped up by this. It's like they feel special that they're in this, inner circle where they get to know all this gossip, and that's all they are. They're professional gossips. They're not reporters.
They are professional star cluckers with an F. These and just for them, I guess the royals are the ultimate stars. They are under that spell. And it's weird because largely most of them are uninteresting, not extraordinary people who just by an accident of birth happen to end up with titles. And I think for a lot of people outside of the UK, even in Commonwealth countries, that's a big part of why no one actually paid attention to these people before Meghan. They paid attention to Harry because Harry has personality, and the same, he brought someone in as his wife who also has a functioning personality to convey things to people. So I can understand a bit of the appeal, but they have to rely on these idiots and these really overly obsessed professional misunderstanders who can't seem to distinguish between posting family photos on social media where, they talk about the protecting children. Yes, exactly, dummy. Where are Lilibet and Archie's Instagram accounts? They don't have one. Where are their TikTok accounts? You've never seen those kids break out into a dance or singing along to some trending song because their parents keep them off of social media. So yes, they are practicing what they preach. And all of this, they talk about anytime they act like normal people, but what about, so they're all just professional misunderstanders at this point who cannot seem to really follow a concept, a thought, an idea through to the end. They just get stuck in some really messed up doom loop where they have to bring it back to, they're making it all about them. And then they stay away. Oh, it's because no one likes them. no one wants to be seen around them. I would try to
And
go more.
mind you, sorry, I'll let you continue, but mind you, it was only a week ago that you had royal children in open carriages, and they knew that the protesters would be there, and they wanted to subject the children to that so that they could create a narrative about the protesters and use the children as a shield. So how are you sitting here and calling Harry and Meghan hypocrites when you had those children out in the open carriages?
Exactly. To roll through the streets and see all of the people who dislike their family. I suppose I'm sure you could turn on the TV and get the same message across to them if you really wanted them to know that. But it's goodness, like I said, they're just professional misunderstanders at this point. There is no amount of logic or reason or anything that can break through to their tiny little lizard brains, because they just have this weird response where as soon as you mention anything, well, it's yeah, they have to find a way to make it Harry and Meghan's fault somehow, some way, without bothering to follow logic or to make a comparison. And that's exactly what I did. Like I said, on this video that I watched, which again, not a professional hate channel, so I didn't go in too hard, but on that video where, oh well, there's all of the reports about people leaving Harry and Meghan, and I just put, what about all the people leaving Will and Kate?
Okay, yeah.
And none of these people, whether it's the people on YouTube, people on Twitter, which I just kind of anonymously stalk at this point, but none of them ever seem to be able to draw a comparison. Literally, this woman responded to me, "Oh, I've never heard about staff leaving William and Kate." And then I told her all of the names that she should Google, like the woman who left after a few weeks and went running back to Jamie Oliver because she probably took 2 looks around and said, "Nope."
Absolutely not.
And I gave her the name of Kate's 15-year person who walked out. So I said, it's, 15 years is not exactly a brief stint. At the same time, it's not this lifetime engagement that you claim all the other royals have.
And it's also interesting that her husband, Chris Jackson, who regularly photos Kate, their marriage broke down around the time that Natasha Archer decided to leave.
I will toss that in if anyone else dares to respond. But yeah, these guys are just professional misunderstanders. Piers Moron is the worst because in addition to being a professional misunderstander, he's got that weird obsession with Meghan, which I know somewhere in his apartment there's a board with photos of her, red string,
Yeah.
and it all connects to she turned me down. And I don't even want to picture what he does with that board when he's alone. But I'm just saying, I have not seen behavior like that from anyone who was not on the other side of a mugshot for stalking. So he needs to rein it in. Obviously, his wife can't seem to do anything about it. So she just decides to.
I mean, she's in on it as well. Yeah, exactly. She's in on it as well, writing articles about Meghan. By the way, I've just looked at the People article where the headline is Prince Harry says he's exploring every available option to bring Archie and Lilibet back to the UK safely. There are 828 comments on that article. 828 comments.
I am certain that probably 80% of them are professional misunderstanders or semi-professional misunderstanders. Oh, well, if they want to bring them back, then why they're talking about protecting children? Why do they post about it, or why do they do this? Not at any point giving, I want to say, any consideration to this whole ridiculous 28-day notice period to Ravik, and not connecting it to what Harry was fighting for in court to be able to do so safely, and to be able to go through this. It'll just come down to, oh, well, that there's now Harry's trying to make it about himself or something nuts. I really feel these people are under whatever cult-like delusion that a lot of the MAGA people in the US are. It's just there's a certain point where it becomes such a part of their personality
Yes.
to hate and to just I don't know, to get mad by anybody who seems to be happy and thriving against their rules, because according to their rules they weren't supposed to be able to do anything outside of the system. So, in spite of repeated seasons of With Love Megan, in spite of products being sold out, Megan's As Ever brand is a failure, and her Netflix deal is a failure because months after it launched, it's not in the top 10. Just whatever ridiculous straw man arguments they can put forward that help them stay in their little bubble of delusion that everything is going to fall apart from Harry and Meghan because they're not part of the institution anymore. And the institution is the best. They can't do anything wrong. The institution is perfect. And yet you
Perfectly
have
corrupt.
exactly. And then you have these two living, breathing examples of the fact that it's not. Oh my goodness, seeing Kate next to our Oompa Loompa president, that's the only thing that gives me a little bit of joy, knowing that she had to sit there and smile while he was probably sharting in his diaper. And
speaking of Kate, sorry, we're running until almost an hour, but since you brought her up, did you see this?
I've caught a couple of clips about her climbing the 3 mountains in Britain. That was my earlier reference to her climbing a molehill and calling it a mountain. I don't know if maybe they got one of her body doubles in there. They just slapped a wig on or something and said going up there. At least she changed out of the Lululemon yoga pants for this one to put on some clothes that were actually suitable. But
I mean, such is the distrust with this institution. There are people saying that she may have had a body double on some parts, and it's interesting that she had all this energy to do this 3-peak challenge, but you can barely get Kate out of the house to do any so-called raw engagements, which I refuse to call work anymore. But here she is with the energy to climb, and I'm sure now she's going to have to take 20 vacations to recover from this.
I know she could not possibly attend the opening of an envelope because, I mean, look at all this work that she's been doing. It will never get old, them trying to cosplay as normal human beings. Kate was ostensibly at some point raised as a normal human being, so maybe she can be a little bit better at it than William. But oh my goodness, it's just so every time they do something like this, just seems to show how out of touch and out of their depth they are when it comes to, again, just performing normal human interactions. But I guess if this is your queen, guys, then this is your queen. I at times I feel bad for her because I know that she has to perform or live up to the expectations of professional misunderstanders and weirdos like Piers Moron and the rest of these people. But that's what you wanted. That's the situation you wanted. So you got it, girl.
100%. Now, just to touch on the conspiracy theory, that some people are saying that maybe she didn't even complete the peak, so that they potentially use a body double because they're looking at this picture of her from the back, and Kate herself is a lot more skinny. But just so y'all know what the 3 peaks challenge is, what happens is that you have to climb the highest mountains in Scotland, England, and Wales within 24 hours. So that's Ben Nevis, which is the highest peak in Scotland, and it stands at 134 meters. Scafell Pike, which is the highest peak in England at 978 meters, and Snowdon, the highest peak in Wales, which stands at just over 1,000 meters, and it has a total walking distance of about 23 miles. That's 37 kilometers, right? So she was driven between the peaks. But some people are saying, well, maybe she was on some parts. And they had the photography team there. So she had to force a photography team to come on the walk with her as well. And she did this, for cancer awareness. And she said cancer doesn't just affect the body, it changes how you think and feel. Profoundly affects every aspect of your life. And, she talks about how she knows this personally because she went through the journey of treatment. That it requires more than medicine alone. And that she's taken on the National Three Peaks Challenge, not simply as a physical endeavor, but as a chance to explore life beyond diagnosis and to give something back. Quickly, somebody in the comment section, tell me what's the waiting list time right now for cancer patients in the UK? Someone tell me. Cancer patients who are not a royal. Because that's really the conversation we should be having. But she's here doing, challenges. Okay, mind you, I think she's also doing this to raise money for charity instead of just giving charity from her own pockets. Mind you, her husband just sold off, what was it, 20 million plus worth of farmland. So you're gonna say why, Android?
I was going to say, just as a little aside, for our imposed royal court in the U.S., which includes space weirdo Elon Musk, they also are. I would just like to remind everyone that the world's first trillionaire, which is obscene, took away medicine care from cancer research, and also some of the world's poorest children. So while Will and Kate might not be trillionaires, I feel that they share the same set of morals. And I don't know, I guess kudos on them, on Kate for, I want to check the helicopter logs too. Because if they're that high up, I wonder if they dropped her off 10 feet away from the peak and they're like, you've got it the rest of the way, go for it. Yay, Catherine, congratulations, Catherine. As she took those last, few steps up to the mountaintop, just with the perfectly positioned photography team. I want to see those helicopter logs, but we'll probably never be aware of those. I don't know. And her husband, I'm starting to really buy into the conspiracy theory that he's being blackmailed, and that maybe that's why he needs all of this money. Certainly in the US, for, again, our imposed orange king for life, and looking at his hands, looking at Liz's hands on those last few days, I just keep going, come on, McDonald's. I'm like, can you put some extra grease on the burgers that go to the White House? Can you please just, Ronald McDonald, come through? But regardless of, for whatever his lifespan is, fingers crossed, we're reading a big, beautiful obituary very soon. But between that ruling class and those royals, nothing is ever as it seems. So I would be very, very, very surprised if Kate is really, she doesn't have the strength, like you said, to go and open an envelope on most days, but now she has the strength to do this extended walk. Okay, if we say so.
That's interesting. That's suspicious.
Yeah. Okay, if you say so.
It reminds me of the conspiracy. I remember back when, I think it was Katie Holmes, claimed to have done like a marathon, but people were saying she never really did it. And then there was like a whole deep dive conspiracy as to whether or not she did the marathon. Kind of reminds me of that. And if, these are the same people that are willing to post Frankenstein photos. So at this point, they've opened themselves up to conspiracy at all times.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, if I have to toss my own out there was a helicopter involved, which deposited Kate just far enough so that they could get that final shot of her climbing the mountain and going, and look, my hair still flips over and flops in the wind perfectly. And she could get her Princess Warrior photo to put out there. And maybe they dropped off a body double at one of the other peaks after she said, okay, I'm ready to go. But we'll never know.
Yeah, I think with these things, when it comes to the royals, at some point in history, it tends to come out. when everyone's like really old, when everyone's really old and it doesn't matter as much anymore, that's when you got these things coming out. Mind you, there's still potentially spare part 2 and 3.
There is. So I'll put out my my sci-fi inspired conspiracy, and that is that William is Jack the Ripper, and he time traveled like from when he was to all of the people that he took out in the past, and he came back and he's like, I'm ready for more. So I think that Prince William is Jack the Ripper. Case solved.
Case solved, yeah. 100-year-old case solved. All right, YM thank you so much as always for keeping us laughing. Thank you for letting me have a little bit of fun. No, always. Look forward to having you on. Thank you also to Fatimata and to Zen as well for contributing. Zen, did you want to say anything just really quickly before we log off? Do you want to say anything? Do you want to put your mic on? Or I don't know, maybe she's moved from her computer. She doesn't seem to be putting her mic on. Okay, maybe next time. But thank you so much nonetheless. Thank you also to everyone who's donated. Really appreciate it. Definitely helps. Was there anybody else I had to say thank you to? Oh, thank you to Legs. You said British Royal Family are all about crop photos these days. Yeah. Very interesting, right? And you also said Kensington Palace is not a trusted source. They fake everything. Yeah, the press will not call it out, but enable it. They use Frankenstein pics to legitimize it. Yes. Indeed. All right, folks. Thank you as always for joining me and my cats and the neighborhood and the neighborhood cats who decided to join today as well. Appreciate you. Love having you here. Yeah, some days we laugh, sometimes we go WTF. But listen, we know how these people are, but we also know how resilient Harry and Meghan are. So yeah, let's just see. I think that very, very last minute, I think they'll do a 360. I think part of this is also just antagonizing Harry and Meghan, but they can play all the games that they want. Harry and Meghan have always come out winning, and they will continue to win. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao.